Had no need to fight tonight.
Dialog is one of the leading technical service providers in the upstream, midstream and downstream sectors in the oil, gas and petrochemical industry. It was established in 1984 and has grown ever since. Their growth development has been since organically and through their strategic alliances with internationally renowned technology partners has made them one of the big players of technical service providers in Malaysian industry. Dialog serves a wide and broad diverse range of customers from many respective areas including multinational oil majors, national oil companies, as well as multinational engineering and service providers located all around the world. Dialog's vision is to be the leading integrated technical service provider that can provide their best services to the upstream, midstream and downstream sectors in the oil, gas and petrochemical industry in Malaysia and international region. Hence, as to achieve the vision, Dialog mission is interrelated and interconnected in continuously enhancing competitiveness, competency, and leadership aligned with their services provided. Therefore, they are committed to perform their duties and commitments in terms of quality and timely job in competing as well as higher security and protection on health, safety, and the environment. They are responsible and actively support the nation's aspiration to serve within their best interests of the communities in performing their duties. The highlight qualities value of Dialog will be based on 5 main areas, which are integrity, health, safety and environment, quality, competency, and excellent performances. Liquidity ratio is to identify the ability of the company to meet its short-term obligations for every operation. The first liquidity ratio is current ratio. As for 2019, the current ratio is 1.5 times, which indicates that the company has RM1.5 ringgit in current asset for every 1 ringgit of its current liability. As for 2020, the current ratio is 1.69 times, which indicates that the company has RM1.69 ringgit in current asset for every 1 ringgit of its current liability. Next is quick ratio. Quick ratio for 2019 is 1.43 times, which indicates that the company has RM1.43 ringgit in quick asset for every 1 ringgit of its current debt. As for 2020, the quick ratio is 1.63 times, that indicates that the company has RM1.63 ringgit in quick asset for every 1 ringgit of its current debt. Cash ratio. Cash ratio for 2019 is 0.6 times, which indicates that the company has RM0.6 ringgit in cash and cash equivalents for every 1 ringgit of its current liability. As for 2020, the cash ratio for the company is 0.84 times, which indicates that the company has RM0.84 ringgit in cash and cash equivalents for every 1 ringgit of its current liability. Therefore, the liquidity ratio analysis stated that all results for the liquidity of Dialog Group Berhad for the year of 2020 is better than 2019.
Next, we move on to the activity ratio. The calculation of this ratio is to evaluate the effectiveness and efficiency to utilize the asset of the operation. This ratio consists of inventory turnover, average collection period, total asset turnover, receivable turnover, and fixed asset turnover. The activity of efficiency of Dialog Group Berhad for the year 2020 is better than 2019, except for the total asset turnover ratio and fixed asset turnover ratio. As for the inventory turnover ratio, receivable turnover ratio, and the average collection period shows that 2020 is better than 2019. Inventory turnover ratio for year 2019 is 19.68 times, which is lower than the year of 2020. For the average collection period in the year of 2019, company took 142 days to collect the debt compared to 2020, which only took 103 days for the collection period, thus indicating the efficiency in debt collection as it collects faster in the year 2020 compared to 2019. Total asset turnover for the year 2019 is 0.36 times, which is higher than 0.32 times in the year of 2020. Thus, it indicates that the company is inefficiently used the asset to generate the return from the investment made in the overall asset in the year 2020. As for the receivable turnover, it shows that the company has 2.57 times in the year 2019, which is lower than 3.56 times for the year of 2020. Lastly, fixed asset turnover for the year 2019 is 1.04 times, which is higher than 0.69 times for the year 2020. Hence, show that the company did not fully utilize their fixed asset for the investment in the year of 2020.
Leverage ratio is to determine the level of debt that has been incurred by the company to finance its operation. The first ratio is debt ratio. For year 2019, the debt ratio for Dialog Group is 41.76%, and it can be analysed that 41.76% of funds to finance its investment come from debt, and the balance of 58.24% represent the owner's capital or equity. As for the year 2020, the debt ratio is 40.98%, which indicates that 40.98% of funds to finance its investment come from debt, and the balance of 59.02% represent the owner's capital or equity. Second ratio under leverage ratio is debt to equity ratio. For 2019, the ratio is 71.71%, which shows that the assets of the company are funded 71.71% by investors to creditors. As for 2020, the ratio is 69.43%, which indicates that the assets of the company are funded 69.43% by investors to creditors. The third ratio for the leverage ratio is time interest earned. For year 2019, the time interest earned is 13.57 times, and it can be analysed that the company has 13.57 times to cover its interest out of its operating profit. In year 2020, the result is 13.89 times, which shows that the company has 13.89 times to cover its interest out of its operating profit. Overall performance analysis for leverage ratios in the year 2020 is better compared to the year 2019. That ratio for the year 2020 is 40.98%, which is better than 41.76% in year 2019. This shows that the company has improved its abilities to pay the liabilities with the assets. As for debt to equity ratio, it indicates that the ratio for 2020 is 69.43%, which is better than 71.71% in 2019. Thus, for the year 2020, company financials become more stable compared to the previous year. Lastly, time interest earned ratio indicates the frequency of the company to pay for the interest. Thus, the ratio for the year 2020 is 13.89 times, which is better compared to the 13.57 times in 2019.
Next, we move on to the last ratio, which is profitability ratio. Profitability ratio is to evaluate the ability of the company to generate profit in comparison with its expenses and other costs in the operation. The first ratio is gross profit ratio. For the year 2019, the gross profit margin for Dialog Group is 21.16%. This indicates that the company able to generate 21.16% profit before other business expenses are paid. As for the year 2020, the gross profit margin for Dialog Group is 22.44%. This indicates that the company able to generate 32.44% profit before other business expenses are paid. The second ratio is operating profit margin. For the year 2019, the operating profit margin for Dialog Group is 2.81%. This indicates that the company made 28 cents before interest and tax for every sale in 2019. As for the year 2020, the operating profit margin for Dialog Group is 3.19%. This indicates that the company made 31 cents before interest and tax for every sale in 2020. The third ratio is net profit margin. For the year 2019, the net profit margin for Dialog Group is 33.14%. This indicates that the company able to translate 23.14% of the sales into profit. As for the year 2020, the net profit margin for Dialog Group is 28.14%. This indicates that the company able to translate 28.14% of the sales into profit. The fourth ratio is return on asset. For the year 2019, the return on asset for Dialog Group is 8.23%. This indicates that the company earned the return on its investment in asset is 8.23% for the year 2019. As for the year 2020, the return on asset for Dialog Group is 9.01%. This indicates that the company earned the return on its investment in asset is 9.01% for the year 2020. The fifth ratio is return on equity. For the year 2019, the return on equity for Dialog Group is 14.57%. This indicates that the company common shareholder equity earned for the year 2019 is 14.57%. As for the year 2020, the return on equity for Dialog Group is 15.68%. This indicates that the company common shareholder equity earned for the year 2020 is 15.68%. Overall performance analysis for profitability ratio for the year 2020 is better compared to the year 2019. Gross profit margin for the year 2020 is 22.44%, which is better than 21.16% for the year 2019, which shows that the company has improved the percentage of sales and exceed its cost of goods sold. Operating profit margin is to identify the percentage of the revenue made by the operating income, and the result shows that in the year 2019 the company has a lower ratio, which is 2.81% as compared to the year 2020, which is 3.19%. Net profit margin shows the ability of the company to generate profit in the profit, and the ratio for the company in the year 2020 is 28.14%, which is better than 23.14% in the year 2020. Return on asset of the company for the year 2019 is 8.23%, which is lower than 9.01% in the year 2020. Lastly, for the return on equity of the company for the year 2020 is 50.68%, which is better than 40.57% in the year 2019, thus indicating that the company has improved the ability to use the shareholder equity to generate profit in the operation.
Move to the suggestion on how company can improve the financial performance. Firstly, Dialog Group Berhad can improve their financial performance by prioritize the project. It means the company need to choose the project that can offer the fast return for the investment made by the company, which increase the financial positions. The company need to analyze the potential risks and measure the company financial stability, because each project requires a higher cost of operation with a long time period to complete. It is important for the company to prioritize the project to ensure they are able to generate the profit and also have a strong financial performance to avoid any financial crisis. For the second way to the company can improve their financial performance is by investing in technology and innovations. It is important for the company as it helps in reducing the cost of operations, time, and improving the process, as well as it optimize the production volume of numbers. This investment can provide a long-term benefit for the company, which can increase the asset utilization and efficiency, and also maximize their revenue to generate the profit. The last way is company can improve their financial performance by keeping a continuous engagement with existing and new clients or business partners, as it helps in maintaining the profitability of the company. By continuing to engage with existing clients, the company may be able to identify what they need to maintain their revenue of the business, and at the same time, they are able to attract new clients in more rewarding to the business opportunities. In addition, having a multiple business partners also come with a great benefit for the company to expand its production capabilities and possibly provide a new capital to the business.
As for conclusion, financial ratio analysis are essential tools toward assessing the organization performance and managerial effectiveness. The analysis is significant to provide information to accounting users to identify the financial strength and creditworthiness of the company. It is important to analyze the ratio analysis to avoid any false impression towards the business results, and also provide opportunities to enhance the company value for the long-term sustainability. The organization also able to monitor and benchmark the business performance year by year and can be comparable with other organizations within their industry. Based on the financial ratio analysis by Dialog Group Berhad, it is increasing by year, which shows that the company is able to utilize the company sources to improve the financial health of the company. The higher ratio and favorable return increasing from the previous year indicates that the company is effective in managing its costs, pricing policies, and operating expenses. From the financial analysis, the shareholders and stakeholders are able to know the effectiveness of the company to generate profit through its sales annually and increase confidence level of investors, and be able to secure the engagement with the company suppliers and thus increase the company value in the future.